Hey guys, welcome to the Go Headquarters podcast. I am Brandon Rahe, and I'm flying solo again today. So what I'd like to talk about a little bit today is preparation. How prepared are you for anything in your life? But in this case, obviously we're dealing with fitness and nutrition. So I want to kind of touch on that stuff. We deal with people coming in and doing workouts all the time with their coaches, maybe 2 or 3 days a week, but still find themselves fairly unprepared with doing certain movements due to certain restrictions, shoulder limitations, lack of wrist mobility, lack of core strength, whatever it may be. There's a million examples. So in life, with almost anything we do, with success, career, people tend to have a different view on those things because they are priorities, right? So we can touch on priorities being a big overwhelming cloud in this whole area of preparation. So when you're going for like a certain career, you have this roadmap of what it's going to take to get there. You have some sort of a plan of action, right? Maybe that's going to school, getting a degree. So out of high school, you're going to go to college, major in a certain area of expertise. You're going to study. You're probably passionate about that topic. That's why you're getting into that area of expertise in the first place, right? How many countless hours are applied to go to class, study for your exams, pass those exams, do extra research, continuing education. You start interning in that field. Then, of course, you start applying for jobs and hold positions. And then, of course, you're in the 40-hour per week plus grind of a career. That's a lot of time spent applying yourself to that one area of your life. So what I want to, kind of contrast to that is how much time do you spend preparing your nutrition and fitness part of your life? Probably not that much for most of you. And that's okay, but I want to talk to you about how the system of planning for your career works and how that same plan of action can impact you in the fitness and nutrition side of things. So in terms of fitness, we're always talking about movement, right? Squatting and pressing and doing pulls and running, swimming, whatever it might be. So we see a lot of movement pattern issues in fitness. People can't squat below parallel because their hips are tight, their hamstrings are tight, they lack the core strength to maintain a vertical torso, whatever it may be. And so my question to a lot of my clients is always, well, when's the last time you worked on this? What day did you address this? Have you been doing your stretching that I've tried to get you to do on the days that I don't see you? And usually those questions are met with answers of, oh, well, I haven't done this since the last time we did it. Well, okay, there's a problem, right? We're identifying a problem that we aren't preparing for that movement, not as much as we should be. So if we're doing front squats, that's one of the notorious ones, right? We've got to maintain that bar in the front rack position. People are always complaining, oh, this hurts my wrists. Oh, I can't get my elbows up. I don't like the bar here. Okay, well, how many days a week are you working on preparing for that one move to make that move more comfortable for you if you know that that's a problem? Well, if you're not spending any time on it, and we only touch on that movement or that position once a week or once every 2 weeks, for instance, because we're cycling through a lot of movements, right? But there's that one that's really problematic for you. You've got to spend some extra time to prepare for that one move so that when we do come back to that move, you're a little more ready than you were the time before. So just like in your successful career or other life map, right? That whole area of your life, we maybe identify the weakness, which leads us to having a plan and having a roadmap. And so that's going to mean, hey, we identify the weaknesses, and therefore we know that we need to stretch more because it's a mobility issue. Or we know we're really weak in an area, and so our wrists always hurt. We need to strengthen our wrists by doing push-ups and handstand holds and hanging from barbells or whatever it may be that your coach helps you identify what that plan of action is. So developing that plan, but then the follow-through. We've got to apply the hours that it takes to come to fruition. Just like going to college, you don't go to one class and go, oh, this is hard, so let's drop out. Well, there went that career, right? I don't want to say that's the same for fitness, but in a way it is. If you do one session and you realize, wow, there's a lot of work to be done, and you abandon the process, well, of course, you're not going to get any more fit from abandoning the plan. So anyway, identifying the weaknesses, developing a game plan to fix them, and then you've just got to follow through and put in the hours. And there are many weaknesses that can be identified. So obviously you know who you are. I guarantee if you're working with one of the coaches here at Go HQ, you've heard what those weaknesses are. We've tried to probably urge you to stretch more or strengthen more or come in on the off days and work on homework assignments or giving you some things to do at home. So that's on the movement side, but let's also touch on the nutrition side. Nutrition is a 24/7 job. In my opinion, the fitness side is very easy, it's very light, it's very fun. I think it's fun to push yourself in the gym, at least that's how I view it. I've always enjoyed this process. The nutrition, however, can be a grind if you aren't instinctively drawn to healthy, clean eating. Same roadmap, right? Let's identify the problems, step one. That helps us develop a game plan to move forward. So if you're notorious for eating processed foods or fatty or sugary foods, okay, those are some of the obvious problems that we need to start working away from. But then we need a roadmap to get us away from those things, and what are the alternative foods we should be doing. Again, the sky's the limit here on infinite different problems depending on who you are and what those issues are. If you need to get rid of some extra body fat, obviously our calories are probably too high. We're probably too high on our sugar intake and our empty calorie intake from processed carbohydrate foods. So we need to develop that plan for a balanced macronutrient intake. Maybe that's not you. Maybe your problem is alcohol. Okay, we need to cut back on that to shave off some of those extra calories and detox your system a little. So anyway, the point is identify the problems, develop a game plan, but then we need to follow through. So with nutrition, once you have a game plan, let's say you develop a meal plan, you have a tracking system in place to actually record and journal what your nutrition intake is like. Adherence. That's going to mean you need to prep your food maybe a little bit on Sundays for the coming week. Maybe you're living out of Tupperware for a little while until you get the knack of it. Maybe you're changing your shopping habits. Maybe your family's pissed off at you because you're not allowing any cookies or crackers or snack foods in the pantry anymore at home. But that's a healthy change for the whole family, so deal with it. But adherence to that plan is definitely difficult. I think nutrition is far more difficult than all this fitness stuff in the gym. But that's for you to determine for yourself as an individual. So that's the main moral of the story, guys. Identify the problems for anything, have a plan of attack, and then follow through. So it's going to take a lot of hours to make progress in any of these departments, whether that's your career, your family life, your movement patterns, and your nutrition. But the roadmap and the hours applied in any of those departments, I think, is comparable. So if one of those areas is lacking, it's probably showing up in your life, and I think you already recognize that when you look in the mirror. So I'd encourage you to follow through on any of the coaches' recommendations that you've maybe heard from any of us here at Go HQ. And if you feel you haven't had those weaknesses identified, have a sit-down talk with your coach, see what those things are, and come up with that game plan. So without that, you're probably just kind of floating around and hoping for the best. So that's it. We'll see you guys next time.